Force Management Systems, Sustainment and Generation. Introduction. Force management systems are profoundly useful in the military profession. Information posited in previous classwork modules is enough proof of the importance of force management to senior officials such as sergeant majors, SGMs, and command sergeant majors, CSMs. This paper presents a reflection on force management systems and their sustainment and generation. Further, it explains how the sergeant majors use them daily because they are crucial on all war mission levels. Force Management, Combatant Commanders. Combatant Commanders, CCDRs, are one of the most perceptible units of the Defense Department. They lead units known as the Unified Combatant Command. CCDRs play a critical role in the global force management processes. The most significant role of commanders is to evaluate their subordinates' capabilities and take action accordingly. There are other roles that these combatant commanders play in force management. For instance, CCDRs ensure the legality of all aspects of the operation and develop site plans for approved deployment locations. The information postulated in the previous assignment of this module is entirely factual. An accurate example of a combatant command system is that of the U.S. military, which emerged during World War II. CCDRs need to be aware of the 4 levels of matching forces. These comprise the identification of preferred strengths, contingency sourcing, execution sourcing, and campaign plan execution. Of all the levels, contingency plans are the most sensitive. Combatant commanders and senior leaders must all anticipate and plan for contingencies in mission operations. Department of the Army reiterates that the most common method of contingency planning that CCDRs use is considering previous scenarios that are likely to recur during the current mission. In instances where a crisis is new, it is prudent to find new plans that can contribute positively to the mission's success. The 4 levels of matching forces form the basis for evaluating what resources are required for successful missions. On the underscore, the work of a sergeant major is harmonious with that of combatant commanders. For the latter to succeed in their roles, they require the support of SGMs. It is, therefore, imperative for them to have encouraging and aggressive leaders. As senior leaders, SGMs play a direct role in force management. For instance, they constantly evaluate mission requirements to ensure that combatant commanders work per those requirements. As a sergeant major, my top priority would be to ensure that the CCDRs adhere to stipulated mission directives. I would also strive to make changes where necessary to ensure that the commanding units can accomplish challenging missions. Force Sustainment, Tactical Operations Center. The discussion regarding the Tactical Operations Center yielded much crucial information. The learning outcome elicited essential details about the role of the functionality of a Tactical Operations Center. A Tactical Operations Center, TOC, is a secluded region occupied by a small group of specially trained military personnel. Members of this group are tasked with guiding the entire tactical team during a war mission. Whereas some operation centers are permanent, others are temporary and go through change according to mission commands. Unlike temporary TOCs, permanent ones are highly technical and contain advanced computer systems to monitor operational progress and maintain constant communication with soldiers and other operators in the field. According to the Department of the Army, all operators and soldiers in a TOC must have requisite training in military occupation specialty. Without such preparation, it would be challenging for them to handle the equipment. TOC operation officers take strategic positions to obtain site communication with team members. Every soldier or senior leader in a TOC is inclined to work towards the mission's success. Since the operation center runs on a 24/7 basis, the employees work in shifts. The main objective is to track information that is used to guide brigades and battalions on the field. On the underscore, SGMs play a critical role in the development and functionality of a TOC. As a senior leader, the sergeant major has the responsibility of observing the operations of subordinate units. The information postulated in the previous module is useful. As a sergeant major, I would leverage SGM's roles in a TOC to ensure that my work is effective. I would perform all other crucial duties, such as organizing and planning rehearsals. As a senior leader of my unit, I would also have a responsibility to design the standard operating procedures of the respective TOCs to ensure that the Operations Center meets all its goals. Force generation, operational contract support. My previous assignment in the force management schedule granted me more insight into the topic of operational contract support, OCS. Although it was merely a confirmation of what I already knew, it also provided me with additional knowledge. Operational contract support is an essential process, which is at the core of military operations. It is implicit in planning and obtaining supplies and services from commercial sources to support CCD-directed operations. A point worth noting is that OCS is multifaceted and cross-functional. As such, it serves various facets and is controlled by different officials. I became aware of this element while working on the first assignment in this module. Primarily, OCS is executed by the combatant command. However, it is imperative to note that other Army officials also play a significant role in actualizing operational contract support. Since OCS is critical to Army operations, all senior leaders in the military clearly understand its role. Other leaders tasked with ensuring operational contract support include combat support agencies, Command Sergeant Major, and Operations Sergeant Major. For instance, a Sergeant Major plays a significant role in OCS, with the primary responsibility being advisory. After receiving commands from the combatant commanders, my duty will be to assess the operational requirements needed to make the mission a success. Subsequently, I will advise other senior leaders on what necessities are required and seek to ensure that they are provided in time. The effectiveness of OCS is highly dependent on the timely delivery of necessities. On the underscore, it is imperative to adopt a multifunctional approach to OCS. This aspect will enhance its practicability in all phases of military operations. The approach will enhance good planning and execution, with close consideration of cost, time frame, and performance, since OCS plays a significant role in combat operations. Its most perceptible merit is that it enables soldiers to focus on their mission without worrying about additional duties. An accurate example of an OCS is when the U.S. Transportation Command awarded various contracts for airlift services to designated areas within the U.S. Command Area of Responsibility. The contracts were awarded to commercial firms with significant experience in operating within remote locations. Conclusion. In essence, senior leaders, particularly SGMs, play a crucial role at nearly all levels of a war mission, since the decisions of their subordinates utterly depend on the directives, which come from the SGMs. Sergeant Majors act as expert problem solvers who assist commanders in amassing the capabilities needed for their units to be successful. On the underscore, it is prudent to recognize the efforts of other senior leaders.